We're back. My name is Ryan. I'm here with the guest today. We're just a couple guys to talk about a film during the time of COVID. Fun little fact, we lost our audience. Yeah, we're filming outside here in Minnesota with the distance, staying safe. And in my little garden area on my patio, I apparently have a duck with like 7 or 8 eggs. And during setup, it flew away, but left its eggs, and I'm a little confused.
It's afraid of us.
But hopefully we'll be back. We tried this before, it came back, so by the time this comes out, maybe we'll have a whole hatchling of ducks as our audience?
Flock?
I don't know. At least there'll be hatchlings, I think,
Yes.
hopefully. Anyway, so we're here to talk about film, not my bad jokes or comedy routine. Why don't you start us off with who you are?
My name is Craig Gilmer. I'm a 27-year veteran of the Minnesota Army National Guard. Graduate of Central Lakes College in Brainerd, Minnesota. I'm currently working as a mechanical maintenance technician, and I want to make a movie.
Yes. So, you have not made a movie before. You've been an extra in some things before.
Yes.
But part of the idea here is to show that almost anyone can make a movie.
Yes.
This is being filmed with a camera phone. Almost everybody has a phone, so you have your own camera. But aside from that, why don't you let us know what you brought here? What's the name of your...
Okay. It's Amazon Cheerleaders of the Rings of Saturn. It's a science fiction taking place in the Rings of Saturn, and it's going to be in the style of the B movies of the 50s and 60s, but using more contemporary techniques, but also using that. I want to show that I can make a movie in very quickly, and that anybody can make a movie if you set your mind to it.
Now, like, how set are we on Saturn? Like, how about the Pluto? Like the difference between Pluto and Charon? Can we set it there?
No, that'd be too far away.
Too far away?
There's a reason it has to be Saturn. It's written in the script.
Okay, how about a little closer? How about like Jupiter? It's big, it's sexy, it's got this eye of a storm.
The storm is society. If you ask anybody about space, they'll tell you the rings of Saturn. Rings are sexist. And there's Amazon cheerleaders of the rings of Saturn.
Oh.
And Jupiter, that eye, it's not as impressive anymore. I heard it's kind of like going away or something.
Yeah. I've never visited, so I don't know.
I haven't.
Okay, so title not quite set yet. Could change a little bit. Mars could be on the table. Maybe
It has to be Saturn. There's a reason for Saturn.
So what did you bring for us here today?
Well, what I brought is an original script, a storyboard, my best rendition, original music that was written and performed by my daughter. It's really good.
In fact, you might be listening to it right now in movie world.
Yes. And
so I've seen the script. It's about 32 pages, somewhere around there. It's not a proper script format, but don't worry about that. I don't have the proper format, either the proper program to write scripts in. It's easy to buy, but again, we're trying to keep the budget down. But turning in proper format probably will extend it to like 45 pages, something like that. Yes, and usually it's about a minute of film is a page. So it'd be about 45 minutes. I don't necessarily recommend that for a short film, because if you're trying to get this into festivals, 20 minutes for a decent number of fests is the cutoff for programming wise. And a lot of other fests like doing 5-minute films, 7-minute films. But what was the inspiration for this? Because I think that gets into the next.
Well, that's the thing is that I wrote a science fiction, and it's in the style of the old movies of the 50s and 60s. And back then, they were able to make movies that people thought were entertaining. And I'm thinking that I can do that, and using some of the modern techniques, I think I can do that better and quicker than what they did. And I want to prove, and that's another big thing, is I want to prove that you don't need a lot of resources to make a movie. This is going to be a science fiction. A lot of it will be in the dialogue, and that's something I want to do, is make it logical sense. That's what people like science fiction. They want something that follows rules. Once you set something, you stick by it.
So that gets on like the proper uniforms or proper patches kind of thing.
Yes, and it's just the thing. If you create, a technology, it may not be real, but if you set rules for that technology, you can't break that later on. Also, like if you use actual scientific terms, use them correctly. Don't transpose galaxy and solar system and gravity well and black hole or wormhole and this and use them all the way that they are actually used in science. That's what people like to see, and I've done that. I've done my research, and I think I have an entertaining, humorous, I hope, science fiction.
So you kind of touched on another thing that elongates scripts, and that there's a lot of dialogue that tends to extend the 1 page, 1 minute rule. If you have an action or a fight scene that might be like half an inch in the script, that might take a whole minute in itself. So it sounds like this might be more on par of just under an hour-ish.
Right. It's like this is my first attempt at a full-length script, and I knew about the minute per page rule, and I'm thinking it's about an hour, because with dialogue, I know it's one of the biggest things with making movies is the actors learning a lot of dialogue. So I want to try to use easy techniques so they can get that dialogue out. So we're not going to like drag down production time. That's another thing, is I want to prove that anyone can make a movie that people will like, without taking a lot of time.
It sounds like this isn't really a short film. It's not going to be long enough for a feature. It's more like a TV pilot, or
yes.
What's the plan?
That's in a way, that's the way I think of it, because that's what I'm probably most familiar with. Why that everybody is like an hour-long episode of a science fiction, and that's the way I kind of saw it. So like, hypothetically, and it's like, oh, we want to see more. We could make a series of it like that. I mean, but that's the way I'm thinking of it. Is so it could be thought of as a short movie. It can be thought of as a series, or just something entertaining. But a lot of it's, I want to prove concepts that this can be done by people who just want to make a movie, and,
right?
And it can be something
and
entertaining.
You got cast and crew, pre-production, and music within your family, kind of with what you have,
right?
And you spent years kind of playing this out, kind of on your off time.
Well, I wouldn't say years. I would say within the last. I wanted to do this. I approached you last year about it, and somebody else, as I say, and then things were working out, and I kept making excuses. It's like, you know what? I gotta get this done. I may not have what I have. Let's make this movie for what I have and what I can get.
And obviously, we can't make the movie right now.
Yeah, and then this comes around with COVID and the additional problems that has recently come up as well. But I'm not going to use that as an excuse. I can't just sit and wait for the best time. That's something I've learned is like, what's the best time? The best time is when you make it that time.
Now, because of COVID and the protests in Minnesota, peaceful protests actually.
Yes.
It's more so the riots.
Yes, those are not the protest.
Right. Either way, it's not exactly the safest time to make a movie, either for health-wise or location-wise. But
Yes.
this script has kind of taken that into account already.
Yes, that's like I said, I wanted to keep, before COVID, I was thinking about 18, but then I reduced it to 9 people, realizing that for budgetary constraints, time restraints, and now for safety. Fewer people, less chance of it being spreading. I know it's minuscule, but we don't want to take that chance. And security reasons, it's like exposing less people if we have to be out and about, or less people traveling.
Right, but the other thing with this film is you've got a green screen. Granted, you're not a professional green screen expert, but the idea is to film it with this green screen to reduce locations.
Right. Oh yes. I've been experimenting with green screen. Not real good. I'm using rudimentary things and purposely didn't go out and spend a lot of money, and I'm using it in the most simplistic ways possible, but still to give the viewer effect of, you know, large sets and hallways and where some action will be. Then there will be written in there, there'll be some outdoor scenes, but they'll be brief. I'm hoping not to have too many locations, and if I can use existing locations for some of the more, I don't know what you call it, common looking areas, like that would be great.
Well, the area just out here has doubled as the outland of Mars before.
Yeah.
You've seen that film.
Yes,
maybe Doug will even be out here to talk about it.
Well, Doug, yes. Doug is of inspiration. After I saw his film, it's like, I can do that. Maybe not his film, but you know that I should have gave him credit, because he really inspired me when I went and saw his film. It's like, well, if he can do this using what he has, I can do something. And you know, I'm hoping to be better in my own way, in a sense. You know, with you know, use of green screens and my knowledge of sci-fi. That was another.
So that film is Journey to the Docile Pink Planet.
Yes.
So that film is Journey to the Docile Pink Planet. It's available online, free if you have Prime to view. You can order it also to get a DVD or Blu-ray. You can watch that while this film is possibly being made. We don't know when this film will be out. During the end credits of this, I've seen everything that's in that folder. We'll show you different clips of artwork, concept designs, and I mean, there's a lot of work that still needs to be going on. Don't expect to see this, you know, next week, next month, or even, you know, this year or next year. But eventually, any film can be made.
Right. And on that note, when we do film it, I want to prove that it can be done expediently, so we'll call it film. But it's just I talk about not at the right time, but you know, we have to wait for a better time to do the current events.
So we're almost out of time. Why don't you give us like a 30 to 45 second pitch on your film?
Amazon Cheerleaders with Rings of Saturn is going to be a fun sci-fi, keeping in the style of the old B movies of the 50s and 60s. I want to have it entertaining with some humor and following good sci-fi rules that I think sci-fi fans and non-sci-fi fans would enjoy.
Okay, thank you. That's going to be almost all for today. We are going to bring out our next guest. He is the star of many films during this quarantine time. His name is Mr. TP. Yes, toilet paper. And we're going to ask him about how now is a pretty dirty time.
Are you open for toilet paper?
Yes. I mean, you got to start somewhere.
All right.
I mean, he's in demand, man. Toilet paper. Actually, he's not. We don't know if he's a guy. He could be binary.
Wouldn't he be two-ply then?
Well, it comes in all shapes and sizes. I don't like to discriminate. Some people like one-ply better. Some people like four-ply. I don't know. It seems a little excessive.
Yes, yes.
Let's roll the clip. Those were the days. I must have replayed those memories 1,000 times.